So, audio description. Yeah, so basically it's a similar concept to captions. It's designed to make film, video, internet videos more accessible to people who are blind or vision impaired. The two things really important to remember about this, people who are blind or vision impaired, VIPs, I will call them, most of them have not been blind from birth. Okay? Most people with vision impairment have lost their vision through accident, through illness, or through old age. Okay, so they have some concept of colour, they have some concept of what things look like. And even people who have been blind from birth, they read books, they watch TV, they listen to music, they read newspapers, they're part of the community. So you don't have to be too careful on, yes, you can use colours, yes, you can use gestures. They are familiar with these concepts. They may never have seen the colour red, but they know its social meaning in our culture. Okay, so when you're thinking about wording, audio description, but yet also just keep in mind that they do have experience of the world. The second thing is more accessible. Film is a visual medium, okay? And there is no way audio description can capture absolutely everything that's happening in a film. It is not possible. We don't even try. It's not going to happen. Audio description is a different way of experiencing the film. So you've got the book of the film, you know Lord of the Rings, you've got the book, you've got the films, you've got the cartoon version, you've got the radio play, you've got the audio description of the film. Audio description, recorded audio description is a standalone item, okay? I have an iPod full of audio description. I sit on the plane and I listen to movies. You don't need the picture because you've got the audio description, but it is a different thing. So much gets left out. So don't think of it as replacing a film because it's not. It's a different way of experiencing the film. So it makes it more accessible, okay? Okay, so there's two main types of audio description. There's a recorded narration. So recorded descriptions of the on-screen action are mixed into the soundtrack. So between the gaps in dialogue, we put in descriptions, okay? So here is an example of some audio description. So this is video number 1. I've got captioned videos for Brent to listen to. So this is video number 1.
Moonlight glints on a rolling dark ocean. On a deserted street, lights shine from shop windows. A police station sign is bright outside a curved, colonnaded building. A battered message board reads, "Love thy neighbour as thyself." In a dark house, a couple sleep. Framed family photos stand on their bedside tables. The alarm clock reads 3:20. A decorated door is labelled Danny's room. A toy lies on a boy's neatly made bed. The window is open. A boy stands gazing out to sea. Blood drips from his finger.
Now, just imagine you're a blind person watching that without AD. You've got no idea what just happened. You're pretty sure it's not a romantic comedy set in the desert, but that's about it, okay? So that's what audio description is, all right? You would have seen we left out a lot, okay? So, all right. The second type of audio description, and this is one you might run into, are AD transcripts. They're mostly for internet videos. VIPs use screen reading software to navigate the internet, and so the screen reading software reads out the text on the page. So we have a transcription of the dialogue, and in between there are descriptions to clarify who's talking or whatever. For very dialogue-dense videos, this is often the best alternative if there's no time for recorded description. We'll be going into more detail about this in a bit. Okay? So far, so confusing? All right. Okay, why do we need AD? It's a condition of Screen Australia funding for feature films. You need to have budgeted for captioning and audio description for theatrical and DVD release, possibly for TV drama as well. It's a bit ambiguous. For some reason, not documentary. I'm not sure why that is. Okay, to meet WCAG 2 standards, does anyone know what that means? Okay, it's a worldwide accessibility standard for websites. Websites in Australia are supposed to meet these standards so that they're accessible for people with, so it's blind, vision impaired, it's deaf, it's also people with print problems, and can be just being able to navigate the website in very many ways. There's a lot of standards for these, okay? So these are the 2 reasons you need to do it. So this one might be something you need to be familiar with. If you're doing a video that's for a government website, it needs to have captioning and AD. And when I say it needs to have captioning and AD, I have audio described driver training videos. Okay, I've audio described pilot training videos. So do not think that your content is irrelevant to VIPs. It doesn't matter, okay? It can be parents wanting to know what their child is doing in the pilot seat, things like that. It needs to be accessible, okay? But the most important reason, inclusion. Okay, people who are blind and vision impaired are part of our community and they deserve to be treated as such. And we're in a very visual society these days. The internet is increasingly video-based. Film and television is a huge part of our culture. Everyone's talking about Game of Thrones or whatever the latest show is. Blind and vision impaired people deserve to be able to join in those conversations, okay? If you don't believe me, I've got some experts.
The SubStation, celebrating the anniversary of iView's audio description trial. What difference does audio description make for you?
Without audio description, I find television a bit boring, and I don't like to invest a lot of time in it and then find I'm missing things. So I might listen to something for 20 minutes on an ordinary program and then I lose track of it, or I don't know what happened in the end. So I find that puts me off watching TV.
If you're watching, say, a detective show, the beginning part may not have any speech at all. So the murder's been committed, but it might just be somebody stabbed somebody and a big scream, but apart from that you really don't know what's happened.
And if it's not dialogue based, if it's mostly action based, it can be difficult to follow what's happening. If there's lots of things happening without any speech, you can get a bit confused, and especially with like flashbacks and things, that can be very confusing because you don't know whether what's happening is happening now, or how come this is happening now, and what's going on, and that kind of thing. It does make it very confusing. Some shows you can follow if it's dialogue based stuff, but it does limit what you can watch and how much you get out of it. If I can't follow what's going on in the first kind of 10-15 minutes, I generally won't bother.
I actually watched some of the David Attenborough special in the Barrier Reef, and I'd already watched it on television and my husband was there, and he did tell me some of what was happening, but he was eating his dinner and so he didn't tell me everything. But last night I was actually watching it with audio, and the things that were described, like even the colours and the submersible going down and things like that, were just amazing.
A lot of the audio production is very good on the program, so I like stereo, and I put the headphones on and I can walk about the house, so I can make a cup of tea or do the washing up or something and still hear it, whereas people who can see are stuck with a screen and they have to watch, so it's pretty good. I can just do things or I can just sit there and relax, whatever.
I watched 4 Weddings and a Funeral. I think that was probably the first thing I ever watched without audio description, and I watched it with audio description, and there was so much that I was missing in terms of, and then there was even a part where there was a bit of caption, a bit of subtitles happening, and I didn't know what was being said in the subtitles until I had the audio description, and I was just, wow, I get so much more out of things with the audio description, because you don't miss things. You don't miss any of the visual things that happen because it's all described. So it's really good.
spoken by Dawn Davis, Lynn McGregor and Katie Best to celebrate the anniversary of the audio description trial on iView.
No, yeah. There are more videos on our website if you're interested, so we made about 5 of them with a bit more information. So, rent's finished, cool. All right. Okay, so that's why audio description is important. And the thing that Lynn said about wearing headphones and walking around the house, I do that too. While the trial was on, I put my iPhone in my pocket, put in the headphones and did the cooking and cleaning while listening to a TV show. Okay? You can leave a show playing and go off and do other things, have the volume up, a bit like watching the cricket. You just walk away and listen to shows. So it's not just for VIPs. Like most accessibility things, it's actually got uses for lots of other uses as well.